Hi, I'm Anna, the Herbology Fairy, and today I wanted to make a quick video to show you the new Botanical Anthology issue that just came out this week. It's called the Botanical Anthology Guide to Herbal Facial Care. This is an independent publication. Lots of creative people put a lot of time and creativity into sharing their recipes for herbal facial care products that you can make at home. They're very simple and easy and also fun to make. Either if you're wanting to use more natural ingredients at home or just for fun, or if you want to make them for gifts and different things. But my friend Julia made a recipe for Cacao Face Powder in this issue, and I am really excited to make this. And so I have all my ingredients here, and I thought I would show you the process of making Julia's recipe. So one cool thing about Julia's recipe is that it's a pretty flexible recipe that you can adjust to your own skin tone. So I have the ingredients here. We have arrowroot powder, we have cacao powder, which is really exciting because the face powder is going to smell like chocolate, which is pretty cool. I would like to have a facial product that smells like chocolate. That's gonna make me hungry though. We have beetroot powder and we have bentonite clay. And the bentonite clay powder is supposed to be one of the more absorbent ingredients that help absorb oil and make it a good face powder. And then there's the option to include an essential oil in your recipe. And so I chose hoe wood. This is one of my favorite essential oils for the scent is like a kind of a creamy vanilla-ish scent. So I thought it would go really well with the cacao powder and the cacao scent. But I also know that hoe wood is very good for being antibacterial and for helping with acne, and so that makes it a really good facial care ingredient. So I have I'm going to make a very small amount of this to try it out. I have a little tin to make it in. I have measuring spoons and my whisk and everything. So we're going to start out with, the recipe says 1 tablespoon of arrowroot powder, 1 tablespoon of cacao powder, 1 teaspoon of beetroot powder, 1 teaspoon of the bentonite clay powder, and then 1 to 3 drops of the essential oil, which is optional. But the recipe also says that you can adjust to your skin tone. You add 1/4 teaspoon up to 1 teaspoon more of the beetroot powder for redder skin, for warmer skin tones, the cacao, and for creamier skin tones, the arrowroot powder. I have very pale, fair skin, so I'll probably be going light on the cacao and a little heavier on the arrowroot powder, and maybe a pinch more because there are pink undertones to my skin of the beetroot powder. Okay, so like I said, I think I'm gonna reduce the recipe down. So instead of 1 tablespoon for the larger measurements, I'm gonna use a teaspoon. So 1 teaspoon, and I'm not gonna be real exact since it's not important to be that precise. The arrowroot powder, 1 teaspoon. I'm gonna go a little scant on the cacao powder since my skin is pretty pale of that. And then for reducing the other 2 ingredients, I think I will use 1/4 teaspoon. I'm not being very scientific about this, but I can always add more. I'm gonna be kind of conservative on the beetroot powder. A little less than 1/4 teaspoon of that, and then I'll use the full 1/4 teaspoon, maybe heaping, of the bentonite clay. Okay, and then what I'm actually going to do is, I know I have a whisk here, but it occurred to me that I could shake it up in my little container, and that makes it even simpler to make. And now I need to try and remember my kind of ratios. I mostly followed the recipe as far as the ratios go, but I did change it up a little bit by reducing. Because if it's a really good color for my skin, then I'll obviously want to make a bunch more of it. Let's see how shaking it did. Okay, it does look a little dark for my skin, so we'll definitely want to add more arrowroot powder, but shaking it did do a really good job of mixing it. So let's add, we'll just keep using this 1/4 teaspoon since the recipe said to increase by the 1/4 teaspoon. Okay, let's see if that lightens it up to a good tone for my skin. In the winter time, my facial skin is a lot more pale, and then in the summer I obviously get a lot of freckles and I get some sun, and that darkens my skin. So I don't wear a lot of makeup. Normally I don't wear a liquid foundation at all. I just don't like makeup very much, as far as feeling like heavy, like I have a lot on my face. So I usually use just powder-based makeups when I do wear makeup. So another powder in my, makeup bag is always a good thing. I like lightweight products. Okay, that does look a little lighter. So before I add the essential oil, I'm just going to test out the color. What I'm gonna do is dab some on my brush, and Julia's recipe says to try it on the back of your hand to match it up to your skin tone. And I don't know how well the color shows up on here, but it looks pretty good. I might just add a teensy bit more beetroot powder and a teensy bit more arrowroot powder, just to make sure that it's pale enough and pink enough for my skin. But again, I do think that this is going to be kind of a translucent powder, not a, and I'm just adding maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon of each, I would guess. Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty translucent powder, not super pigmented, which is great. That's also what I like in a facial powder. I'm gonna mix this up again. I'm really glad I had the idea of mixing it in a closed container with a lid. I think that that's simplifying the process even more, so I do recommend that. Okay. Let's see. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I don't know that it looks all that different in the container each time that I do it, but all we can do is try it out and see. So since I reduced the recipe so much, I'm only going to put 1 drop of the essential oil in. I'm one to go light on the essential oils if I'm using it on the skin, just to make sure that it doesn't irritate the skin. I do already know that I don't have bad reactions to hoe wood. Lavender is another gentle one that you could use, but it never hurts to go light on the essential oil if you're not sure how your skin is going to react. Okay, so I'm just gonna try and put 1 drop of this in here, and that should still be enough to add a little bit of scent. Okay, 1 drop. Now I know this is an oil and it's trying to be mixed into a powder, but I still think that shaking it up should help, should do the trick. Just maybe shake it pretty vigorously to mix it in. And that bentonite clay should absorb the oil. All right, it looks like it's mixed in. So let's try it out again on the back of my hand. And don't want to knock off too much. See how it looks? Okay. Now I'm going to tilt the camera up a little bit so I can see and you can see my face. I'm going to try dusting a little bit of this powder on my face for you to see. It may not show much. I mean, it's not a super pigmented powder, like I said, but it will be good for absorbing oil, kind of a setting powder over makeup if you wear foundation. And if you don't, then it still be a good product for absorbing oil and kind of smoothing out your skin tone. Okay. I'm just gonna swirl it all over my face. Since I'm very nearly blind without my glasses, I can't really see how it looks, but you can decide while I'm doing it. I think it looks really nice from what I can tell. It smells wonderful, very chocolatey, and also the hoe wood adds a warm vanilla-ish scent. If you don't have hoe wood essential oil, you can also use frankincense. They are similar in their properties. You could use rose. Orange might be really good. It might overpower the cacao a little bit, I don't know. But I think I can tell that my face looks a little less shiny, and it smells amazing. I'd use it for that reason alone. All right, so this is a really fun and simple recipe to make. I could see doing this at maybe a book club or a party with friends, or doing it with, you know, your teenage daughter, or, you know, if you have other groups where you like to bring an activity to do, I think it'd be really fun to make this together, sit around and personalize and kind of help each other decide if the color you came out with matches your skin tone. But also it's just a really neat, it feels really neat to make your own natural and plant focused skincare products. It's really special. So, and something that, you know, I enjoy. So again, that's the Botanical Anthology Guide to Facial Care, Herbal Facial Care. So the ebook version of this is $5, or if you want the print edition, you can purchase that on Amazon. I have links. I don't have any like affiliate code or anything like that. This isn't, I just am excited and want to share about this. So, and then again, that was Julia's recipe for the Cacao Face Powder. And you can find Julia on Instagram at A Farm to Keep. And her Substack newsletter is called Commonplace. So sorry if this video is a little rough. I'm very much not used to making videos, but I thought I'd give it a try. Let me know if you liked hearing from me and actually seeing my face, and maybe I'll try another one sometime. Thanks.